Alright, Piss and Vinegar day 16. So it's leg day, my least favorite day. Rolling out my lower back, my spinal erectors, and my glute medius and minimus because I got really bad sciatica that really limits my ability to pull and squat. And this is part of why I haven't trained legs consistent. Well, I've trained legs. I've always trained legs, but I've very inconsistently done squats and deadlifts because they're always very bothersome. I always have problems with them, whether it be lower back pain or it be just kind of lack of progression, lots of instability. The movements often just feel very weird, and they still do. They feel like shit, but I'm doing them now anyway because I just need to suck it up and fucking get through it and just do them, basically. And obviously leg day is the hardest day too, so that's part of it. But I used to do a lot of kind of volume on my deadlifts and squats, and it would really demoralize me, just like any other training systems I did where it was volume for pressing or volume for back or whatever it was. Volume always sucked for me. I mean, it sucks for most people because it gives you lesser results and you spend more time in the gym, and on a leg day it's extremely difficult to get through a leg day when you're doing 10 sets of squats. So now I'm just doing less volume, which isn't as effective for strength gains, but I don't really care too much about strength, as you'll see by my relatively weak deadlift and squats in a second. I'm more worried about getting big legs rather than strong legs. And obviously a strong muscle is a big muscle and a big muscle is a strong muscle, but I have relatively big quads and glutes, even though I haven't done squats or deadlifts until a month ago for like 2 years. So this idea that you have to be strong, super strong to be big, I don't really believe in this, although I think it will help if I can get my squat and deadlift up to a more respectable level. So just biting the bullet and doing it now, but I'm not doing much volume because, for one, I don't believe in volume in general, but unless you're trying to get strong. And because I'm super weak right now, that yes, I'm doing a bit of volume, but once I get to a respectable level, say 140 kilo squat, 180 kilo deadlift, I'll probably just go to one set to failure work and work with that because I just don't want to do leg days if there's any volume on it. So right now I'm biting the bullet, doing volume because it's kind of required. Although on my deadlift, I'm not doing a hell of a lot of volume. I'm doing a peak 1 rep max or a 1 to 3 rep max. Once I get to 3 reps, I up the weight. And then I do a back off set, do a little bit more work with a lighter weight, and then I do a third back off set to just kind of get the central nervous system a bit more efficient at the movement, but I'm not really doing heavy shit apart from the 1 rep max. And it's weird with my deadlift, I move this first rep, and it always feels like I get 6, 7, 8, 9 reps. And then the second rep, I just don't even budge it off the floor. I don't know what it is with my deadlift. Like, that moved pretty decent. That moved like a 5 rep max, and then I go for a second rep and fucking bam, I can't even budge it. So I don't know what it is with my deadlift. It might be partially my sciatic issues. I can't really get my I can't really recruit every motor neuron or something. I don't know what it is. I'm quite weak on the deadlift, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else feels that way with deadlifts. They feel like they can get heaps of reps and then they can't, or if it's just me. So yeah, I'm doing a back off set, and this is really light. 100 kilos ain't shit, but I could lift this for 20, 30 reps. But I'm just doing 5 reps because that's as much as I feel like doing, and I'm just doing it to get more efficient at the movement. And when I start bulking, I might do a bit more volume on the deadlift if I can be fucked. But previously, part of why I would quit doing deadlifts is the volume. I would do 4 sets of 6, and then I'd do 6 sets of fucking 3, and all this volume bullshit that probably gave me better neuromuscular adaptations, but realistically I would be skipping half my fucking sessions, so I'd be better off doing less, getting slightly less results, but in the long run being more consistent, thus sticking to it. And now moving on to squats. Same thing, fucking suck at these. They don't feel right. I hate them. I fucking hate it all. I hate squats, I hate deadlifts, but has to be done, gotta suck it up. So yeah, going on to some 3 sets of 5. So that's it'd be ideal to do 5x5, but again, I won't do 5x5 because it's just too much volume. So I do 3 sets of 5, suboptimal, but again, it's better than nothing. And when I start bulking, I'll probably start doing 5x5, and then at the end of the 5x5 set, I'll do a straight set to failure. But right now, because I'm cutting and barely making any progress, I just can't be fucked. So yeah, what's this? So I do 92 kilos. The best squat I ever did was 145 for 5, or one. What was my 1 rep max? I think it was 160 or 170. It was a long time ago, back when I didn't have as many issues with my hips and back, and I was much heavier. I was like 105 kilos. Now I'm 78. You know, you lose a lot of strength when you get lighter. Hey, so yeah, if I could get back to around that area, but at a lighter body weight, say 80, 85 kilos, I'd be a happy chappy. A double body weight squat with my specific issues with my hips and knees and stuff, I'd be totally happy with a double body weight squat. So slowly get up towards that, and I think once I start bulking, I'll be able to get a lot more progress. I'll be able to, you know, increase the weight 2.5 kilos every session, sort of thing. And I might even invest in like 2 or 3 kind of squat days a week, just to do a bit more frequency. So not go as intense, but just do squats 3 times a week, 5x5, like a novice program, just to get my neuromuscular adaptations out of the way. And then that way I can then quickly switch over to high intensity and just do 1 set to failure work, which is what I want to do. I don't like volume. Volume sucks. So yeah, doing these. As you can see, my knees cave in a little bit because I have pronated feet, and I just generally have relatively weak glute medius. That's why I put these bands around my ankles. If you have sort of knee instability on squats, I'd highly suggest putting these bands around your ankle, and it will force you to bring your knees outwards. Don't put it around the knees, because there's 2 reasons your knees will do knee valgum. 1, you have pronated feet, and 2, you have weak sort of medius, or down the side TVA. So if it's one or the other, either way, if you put them around your ankles, it'll address both. Whereas if you put it around your knees and it's your ankles that are the problem, it won't address your ankles. So put them around your ankles, and that way it'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, rather than kind of putting it around the knees and only targeting the glute medius. And then I tried making the belt a bit tighter by making this. My belt's too small now because I cut weight. So as I said, I used to be 105 kilos. So this belt is, I have to like drill holes and shit in it now, and then putting fucking towels over my stomach so that it's, you know, I can get it tight. But it didn't feel tight enough, so I tightened it up in this last set. And actually this last set felt a little bit better, actually. Which would imply that my bracing and lower back is a weakness. So I need to work on that. And I do work on that, but I might need a little bit more volume once again to adjust my central nervous system, get my back and core stabilization a little bit tighter. And after this, my legs are pretty cooked, but then I go on to my 1 set to failure work with my leg extensions and hamstring curls. So you saw me doing these last week when I did my leg day when I was sick, and I just did leg extensions and leg curls. And actually, that's how I used to just train my legs. Until recently, when I decided to suck it up and start doing squats and deadlifts again, I used to just do leg extensions and leg curls to failure, and I built bigger legs than previously when I did squats. So right now, the squats and deadlifts, I'm not even really sure they're going to give me that much extra hypertrophy gains. I'm just doing them because I want to be a bit more impressive, honestly. I mean, it's cool to be able to deadlift lots of weight. It's cool to be able to squat lots of weight. And it's depressing thinking about how much stronger I used to be. So realistically, you don't actually need squats or deadlifts. I mean, Dorian Yates had some fucking huge legs, and he never did squats. He would just do Romanian deadlifts, which are a little bit easier and safer, and he would do leg press. And he had some of the biggest legs ever. So you don't necessarily need squats and deadlifts to have big legs. But if you're an ego, if you have having a stroke, if you have an ego, you want to have a strong squat and deadlift, then you've got to do them. And that's not even to say that that's necessarily a good metric of leg strength, because they're so technical and there's so much kind of mobility and holistic strength involved that it's not a raw strength. The best way of really figuring out what raw strength is through a deadlift. I'm having a stroke. If you have any semblance of an ego, then you're gonna want to have a strong squat and deadlift. And that's not to say that they're a great metric for strength either. I mean, there's so much technique and kind of stability and mobility involved that the best way of figuring out what your raw leg strength is actually a leg press, because there's no technique involved, and thus you don't have to rely on your technical prowess. You can just purely rely on your ability to drive through your legs. There's no lower back involvement. There's no, core instability limitation. With leg presses, you can just totally see how big and strong your legs are. If I had a leg press, I probably wouldn't do squats. I would just do leg presses and deadlifts, and in the future, I'll probably buy a leg press for that exact reason, because squats I'm not even that really fussed with. I mean, deadlifts is the big ego one, right? Or at least for me. So yeah, doing my leg extensions and then my leg curls, very similar to last week, just taking them to mechanical failure, and then I'm finishing off with some back extensions. Yeah, these, I might start trying some good mornings also, because as I said, my lower back feels weak, although it doesn't seem that weak from my back extensions. It seems weak. I don't know what to tell you. So I might start doing some good mornings, see if that addresses any of the lower back weaknesses that I have, or my bracing weakness. Hopefully that might be a good accessory to my deadlift. That, or I might start doing RDLs again. But previously, when I did RDLs, I would get seriously fucked up sciatica the next day, because I have not bad hamstring mobility, but I can't bend with a straight back without sort of getting like a nerve impingement in my upper glutes, sort of where the sciatic nerve runs through the hip joint. So don't know if I'll be able to do RDLs. Maybe I'll try them out again. Maybe things have changed. RDLs are a great accessory to the deadlift also, but obviously if it's going to give me sciatica, I won't be able to do it. So yeah, taking these to failure. My lower back's fucking smoked. Trying to get that Christmas tree at the same time. Then I do a rest pause. So I do a drop set, I drop the weight, and then I immediately start resting once I fail with body weight, and then I do a little bit more body weight, and then I'm done. So this is probably my longest workout session, because again, it has a lot of volume in it, whereas all my other sessions, the only volume I get is from drop sets or kind of slowing down the tempo and getting more time under tension. Because again, volume is simply time under tension. That's all it really is. I also want to get a better hyperextension machine, because this one's janky, but also the ones where your legs are parallel to the floor allows you to use your lower back a lot more than your glutes and hamstrings. So I'll either rig this one up so I can go a bit more parallel to the floor with my legs, or I'll buy a new one. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow for more piss and vinegar. Leg day is a bit depressing. My apologies. Bye-bye.